And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fleming Film Talk with me, Robbie Fleming. And joining me, as always, is Justin Doyle. Hello, Justin.
Hello, Rob. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. How do you feel about this being the first post-strike episode?
Hallelujah.
Yes.
118 days. It just felt like a second pandemic, and I'm glad that it's over. And we'll see if it works out and pays off. It's only good for 3 years, so let's hope we don't have to do this again in 3 years.
No,
But
I doubt it.
yeah, I'm excited that it's over and that we can talk about new movies and promote ourselves and stuff like that. So, and get back to work.
Yep.
And happy Veterans Day to all of you out there.
Yes, and happy Memorial Day to all the Brits, which is in line with today's warm-up game.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do the same as you did last week and do a quiz on war movies. Are
All
you
right.
ready?
I don't know. I don't know. War movies are, especially the earlier ones, I don't really know a lot about. I do like them now, um, more, but yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. Sorry, just had to pause the TV. I can hear
What
you
were you
better.
watching?
Simpsons.
Nice. I heard that Homer's going to stop choking out Bart.
Yeah, he made a joke about in a recent episode.
Yeah, I think they're going to start doing that. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it's good. He's a cartoon. It's like a Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. They blow up, but then they come back to they're always alive. It's
Exactly,
like he
exactly.
got choked out. He never. But I guess I
Look
get
at
it.
Kenny in South Park. He dies in literally every episode.
Yeah. I guess the kids are being too affected about from it these days, so
Yeah,
it seems like it's for the better.
definitely. Anyway, let's get on with the quiz. Are you ready?
Ready?
All right. Starring Tom Hanks and Matt Damon and directed by Steven Spielberg. What is the name of this 1998 blockbuster?
Saving Private Ryan.
Correct. Set in Morocco in 1941 and stars Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman. What movie is this?
Uh, see, this is what I'm talking about.
It's one of the most famous films of all time.
Humphrey Bogart and Birdman, but isn't it? Okay. Gone with the Wind.
Casablanca.
Casablanca. That's a war movie.
Yeah, it's set during the war.
Okay.
All right, question number 3. Directed by Quentin Tarantino and starring Brad Pitt, this movie tells the story of a group of Jewish US soldiers who plan to assassinate Nazi leaders.
Inglorious Bastards.
Correct. Set in Warsaw Ghetto during World War II, this film tells the story of a Polish Jewish musician who struggles to survive. I'll give you a clue. This stars Adrian Brody.
The piano. Pianist. The pianist.
The pianist, yes, correct. Right, this one might be a little bit hard, but intense and claustrophobic, this 1981 film tells the story of a U-boat and its crew during the Battle of Atlantic in 1942. It's a German movie.
Um. Uh. Okay. Um. I feel like I know the title, but I can't think of it. Uh. E- oh my god. Uh. I'll pass.
It's Das Boot.
Yes, Das Boot. Yes, of course.
All right, this is
Yeah.
a film I watched recently, directed by David Lean and starring Peter O'Toole, and set in the Middle East during World War One.
What are you doing to me? I have no clue.
Lawrence of Arabia.
No idea.
You've never heard of Lawrence of Arabia before?
Yeah, yeah, but never seen it.
You should check it out.
Okay.
The Great
Seems
Escape
like home.
starred, amongst others, including Steve McQueen. What's the nickname of Steve McQueen's character?
I don't know.
The Cooler King.
Never seen it.
Again, you should check it out. It's won my Fleming Award, 1963.
All right. Well, I did go into this saying I know more about the earlier ones but the later ones than I
Right,
knew the
this
earlier ones.
this one's going to be another hard one.
Oh, good, because all the other ones have been cake.
The first three were
Mm-hmm.
directed by David Lean and starring Alec Guinness and William Holden in a Japanese POW camp.
17 Assassins.
The on the River Kwai. To be fair, I've not seen this movie either.
Uh, did you say Marlon Brando?
I said Alec Guinness and William Holden.
Okay.
Right, you'll get this one. This film tells the story of how Alan Turing and his team of mathematicians cracked the Enigma code in World War II.
The Imitation Game.
Correct. Now, this one you might not have seen, but you'll know it, and you'll know the opening scene. Released in 1970, this film chronicles the life of a controversial U.S. general around World War II, starring George C. Scott as the lead.
No idea.
Patton.
Mm.
So yes, you need to see Patton, The Great Escape for Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay.
That's your homework.
All right.
And I
Man,
need to and I need to see Bridge on the River Kwai.
you really went hard on this.
It's just one I found while I was googling war films.
Yeah. But nothing about Greyhound or Fury, 13 Hours, Sniper. I mean, Hacksaw Ridge, 1917, All Quiet on the Western Front. Like, these are movies that we know. Greatest Beer Run Ever, Tropic Thunder.
They're comedies.
Well, those are more likely to be seen than non. Good
But
Morning Vietnam.
what's most important is everybody who has fought in these battles, whether it's the Brits, the Americans, or anyone else overseas.
Yeah.
Well, your war movies are very passionate.
Dunkirk. You couldn't have a Dunkirk question in there?
It was just what was on the thing.
No Zero Dark 30?
Again, it was just what was on the
Hurt
thing.
Locker?
Again, it was just what was on the thing. What was on the thing I found.
Okay, good job. I wish I knew better. I knew it was gonna be a big dud. What I get, 5 out of 10?
I think you did, yeah.
50%?
That shows you know. That shows you aren't like dumb. I don't think you're dumb or anything.
Well, I mean, how can I be dumb? I've never seen the movie. If I've seen the movie and I didn't know the question, like that's different.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your service in this game.
Yes. Thank you. All right, now for the main event.
Ooh, which is what?
Today we are talking about our top 5 favorite Martin Scorsese movies.
Martin Charles Scorsese,
Or Marty as his friends call him.
about to be turn 81 years old on November 17th. It's coming up. Works a lot with Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. Are any of those movies going to be on our list? You'll have to find out right now.
Yes, right now, right here, right now.
You want me to go first?
Yes, please go first as you did the quiz.
Okay, well, I respect the man, Martin Scorsese, but none of his movies are even in my top 50. And I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. I'm not really a person to glam on to directors anyway. But, you know, mainly if I do, it's like a Spielberg. But Scorsese is not one of my strong suits. So uh, I'm just going by the movies, not only that I've seen, but that I, kind of like, because most of them I don't really care for. So my number 5 comes from 2 great actors. One sadly no longer with us. One becoming one of the biggest action superstars there is. This movie came out in 1986. It stars Paul Newman and Tom Cruise, and it's The Color of Money.
I've always wanted to watch that, but I've never seen The Hustler, so I want to see The Hustler first, then The Color of Money.
This is one of the movies where, like, it was always on. My dad, had it on all the time. And again, we couldn't, if we wanted to watch the TV, we had to watch whatever he was watching or my mom was watching. And so this movie was always on. And I finally, as an adult, watched it fully. And yeah, it's pretty darn good, mainly because of the performance from Paul Newman. He is one of the all-time greats. I mean, this guy was a bona fide superstar, movie star, and just kept going into his later years. This is about Fast Eddie Felson. He teaches a cocky but immensely talented protege the ropes of pool hustling, which in turn inspires him to make an unlikely comeback. So yeah, Paul Newman teaching Tom Cruise the ropes, and that could have been said for acting as well, because Tom Cruise had done some movies then, but he was never known for his acting main. It was mostly because of now his name is just bigger than himself. Nominated for 4 Oscars, winning 1 for Best Actor, Paul Newman. Best Supporting Actress from Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Best Screenplay and Best Art Direction. Again, I think this is a Paul Newman-led movie with, I guess good directing behind it. But when you have somebody like Paul Newman, whoever's directing him is going to get a great performance. So, but it's a fun movie. It's a sports movie, hustling movie, and yeah, it worked for me. That's why The Color of Money is my number 5.
I have not seen it, but I will once I've seen The Hustler. Do you have to watch The Hustler to understand what's going on, or does it just kind of tell its own story?
I haven't seen The Hustler, so.
No worries.
Hold on 1 second, my dog.
Okay, with Justin gone, I'm going to go into my number 5. I'll get Justin to read out the results once I've talked about my number 5. My number 5 is a lot different from Martin Scorsese movies. This one, his films are mainly tender to adults, but this time he made a kids movie. And he made one that actually feels like a ride. And it's 2011's Hugo.
Yes, barely missing the list here. It felt too much like a Spielberg movie to me.
Okay, I kind of get what you mean because it's it's a coming of age story about these kids.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Scorsese doing his his love letter to cinema, and he's doing it in the 30s when, like the early 30s, like he's focusing on the 1920s, like really early cinema, way before Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. 1931, Paris. An orphan living in the walls of a train station gets wrapped up in a mystery involving his late father and an automaton. Yeah, this has Jude Law, Chloe Grace Moretz,
Yep.
Ben Kingsley, Christopher Lee, Sacha Baron Cohen, Ray Winstone, Emily Mortimer.
And
Yeah, and this
Field.
this is one of the
Hugo.
This is one of the first sort of movies that Sacha Baron Cohen was in that wasn't like a Borat or an Ollie G. Yeah, we hadn't seen him sort of outside of those characters. So that was really good.
Talladega Nights came out in 2006.
Oh yeah, yeah, but I guess I'm talking about on a higher like a Martin Scorsese level, you know, and then he went on to do like Les Miserables and stuff. Like he wasn't just doing these, you know, like The Dictator and stuff like that.
He was in
Talladega
Sweeney
Nights.
Todd. I'd say Sweeney Todd was probably the start to him being in Hugo and Les Mis.
Yeah, he's pretty good outside of those roles. But what do you like about this movie?
It's fun. It's entertaining. It's a Scorsese film you could recommend to a young person. It tells you a little lesson in classic cinema. It's got some fantastic shots, a beautiful score, amazing visual effects, and it's just nice to see Scorsese do something for a younger audience.
Yeah, it's still pretty adult for what it is.
But it's
Uh,
but it's a PG. It's not a.
Meaning like it's not whimsical the entire time, you know. It's kind of got some boring points to it.
I don't find any of it boring.
Oh, well, that's good. Uh, got a lot of nominations here and 5 wins overall. 11 nominations, one for art direction and visual effects and sound editing and sound mixing, and also one for cinematography, but nominated for Best Picture and Director, Screenplay, Film Editing, Costume Design, and Music. So yeah, one for all the reasons why you like it.
Yep.
Yeah, great production design, no doubt. Cool. Well, let me go over the Color of Money stats real quick, and then we'll do Hugo. 7.0 for the Color of Money on IMDb. Budget of 14.5 million, worldwide gross 52.2, 88% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 73% audience score. For Hugo, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 93% with a 78% audience score. Had a budget of $150 million. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Worldwide gross 185.7, so did not do well money wise. 7.5 from IMDb. Critics love it.
And I like it too. I wonder what Toady thinks of Hugo.
Yeah. I wonder what he thinks. Okay. My number 4 brings up one of the aforementioned actors that Martin Scorsese always works with. I don't think this is a perfect movie or anything. I think it has a lot of flaws. Some of it being the cinematography up close, which is the direction of the director. So have some issues with it, but it's a great crime thriller. And yeah, I enjoyed 1991 Cape Fear.
Need to see this one.
Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange. This is about a convicted rapist who's released from prison after serving 14-year sentence, stalks the family of the lawyer who originally defended him. And that's Nick Nolte. And he's got a kid, Juliette Lewis. I mean, he's a convicted rapist, and now he's hanging out with this kid and his family. So, of course, there's a lot of terrifying moments in this. And pretty good performance from Robert De Niro. And Nick Nolte, I think, did a good job as a straight man. But yeah, doesn't necessarily like this could have been directed by anybody. It feels like doesn't necessarily feel like a Scorsese film to me. But yeah, pretty thrilling. I mean, what would you do if anybody that was convicted from anything, you know, was around you all the time stalking you? Pretty scary, right?
Run.
Yeah, run. Get a warrant, or you know, one of those where you can't come close to, can't be around me for like 50 yards or whatever, 100 yards.
Yeah.
Nominated for 2 Oscars for Best Actor in a Leading Role and Best Supporting Actress, Robert De Niro and Juliette Lewis. Did not win, however. Yeah.
Why do you like this one?
It's just, I like the concept, the idea of it. I mean, it is, to me, like goes, like this is a horror movie in my opinion, because this is what's scary. This is horrific. This is something that could actually happen. You know, The Exorcist stuff and Five Nights at Freddy's, like that's just bull, you know, Malignant. Like that's, none of that stuff's ever going to happen. This could actually happen. So I like this because of the thrilling sort of horror aspects that it has to it. Because real life, this could happen in real life. But yeah, the cinematography in it is beautiful. But again, the direction of a lot of the close-up shots, I don't think really worked. But who am I to say? I'm no Academy Award-winning director. But yeah, check it out for good performance, Robert De Niro and Juliette Lewis.
Nice.
7.3 on IMDb. The box office, the budget is 35 million. Worldwide gross is 182.2. So that did pretty well. I feel like all of our dads went out and saw this movie. And 75% from the audience, from the tomato meter, and 77 from the audience.
Nice.
Yeah. My number 4, Cape Fear.
Right for my
Fear is in the title. Yes. Let's hear your number 4.
Alrighty then. So, my number 4. I love this movie. It's almost a perfect movie. It's a long movie, but I like it being this long because there is so much to take in this movie. And boy, does it not get boring one single second. This is a story about one of the craziest men in the world, and it feels like a movie that only Martin Scorsese should have directed. It's The Wolf of Wall Street, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey, Tal Chandler, Rob Reiner, Jon Favreau, and John Jajarin.
Yes. A boring movie to me.
How do you not find people doing crazy? How do you find a film with people doing crazy stuff boring?
Because all the stuff in between just is like blah, 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 blah.
I don't know anything about business. This film is a ride.
Yeah.
You don't care about the business side. You want to see him be a prat and do these weird stuff.
Yeah, but why are we glorifying him? He's a criminal.
And we're not glorifying. We're just telling true events to make it entertain people.
I didn't find it that entertaining. But tell me why you did.
Isn't it? I'm not one of these bros that idolizes him. I know he's a bad person, but I just like seeing the events that lead to his downfall.
Spoiler. This is based on a true story of Jordan Belfort from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker
And
living
bear
in the
in
high
mind,
life.
Leo looks nothing like the guy and pulls off a brilliant performance.
Yes, to his life involving crime, corruption, and federal government. Top rated number 132 overall on IMDb. A lot of people love this one. Yeah, did really well at the Oscars as far as nomination, getting 5.
No, John Bernthald's in this movie.
Yeah, he's great. Love me some John Barenthal. Good for him too. Like being in a Scorsese film. Leo was nominated for Best Actor. Jonah
He
Hill for
should have
Best
won
Supporting.
his co-star Matthew McConaughey.
Well, he wasn't nominated. Jonah Hill, not for Wolf of Wall Street. Jonah
Matthew won
Hill.
the Dallas Buyers Club.
No. He wasn't nominated for this movie though.
No, but he beat Leo.
Yeah. Well, I think he did a way better job than Leo. Jonah Hill was nominated for Best Supporting.
Okay, Jared Leto did a better job than he did. I'll give Jared Leto
that. But that is a really good performance from Jonah Hill. I do like his work for that. It was also nominated for Adapted Screenplay, Director, and Motion Picture.
The only other nomination I'll give it is Margot for Supporting Actress.
She could have been in it more.
But this was our introduction to her.
Yeah. And what an introduction it was.
Wasn't not only what an introduction it was, but what a career she's had in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Really good. Won an Oscar. Right? Did she win?
She's been nominated.
Okay. Fry Tanya. Yeah, biggest movie of the year this year. And she made a ton of money.
She'll get nominated.
You think so?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, I think what saves this movie is the acting. The story itself is kind of
the editing's good.
$100 million budget. Worldwide gross 406.8. That is a big winner.
Plus, this movie has Foo Fighters in its soundtrack, so it must be good.
Yeah. 8.2 on IMDb, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes with the 83% audience score. All right.
Yes, my number 4, The Wolf of Wall Street. Check it out.
Speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, most of this is going to be either Robert De Niro or Leo anyway.
And the rest are.
This is also a great thrilling movie, and it was interestingly enough directed by Martin Scorsese.
Did it feel like a Scorsese film?
No, not at all. I believe I watched this movie and then saw the credit that he had directed it. I'm like, what? Because of course I went to see it because of Leo. Also starring Emily Mortimer and Mark Ruffalo. From 2010, it's Shutter Island.
Yay! That's my number 8 on the list.
Oh, okay. So further down. Yeah, this is a great just mystery thriller. It has great twists. Just it really makes you think. I like movies like this. You don't expect what's going to happen. It actually happens.
Yes,
I
don't
love stuff like
spoil.
that.
Yes, don't spoil the whole movie for everybody. But this movie is insane. Leo and the Hulk go to a house to do an investigation.
Yeah. Two U.S. Marshals are sent to an asylum on a remote island in order to investigate the disappearance of a patient. But then Leo finds out the shocking truth about the place.
How this wasn't in talks for awards, I do not know.
I agree. I mean, not makeup, not production design. I mean, it really could have had.
Not even best actor for Leo.
Yeah, it's a very different performance from what we've seen from him. He makes you feel like it's scary being where he is. But also, for somebody who I miss a lot, I don't know where he's at. Mark Ruffalo, so good.
He was just
They're a
he
great.
was just in a Netflix series.
Oh yeah, series. That's not. I'm not into that. Michelle Williams is also in this movie. Patricia Clarkson, Jackie Earl Haley, John Carroll Lynch. Um, yeah, just a really interesting film, and nothing. The only thing that I think makes you know that it's Scorsese is that it's Boston, right? Doesn't he like the East Coast?
Boston or New York, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen this, you like it, it's in your top 10.
Yes, yes, and I plan to show it a friend tomorrow.
What do you like about it?
I think it's got a good mystery. The quest blows your mind, and Leo's performance is in his top 10 at least.
Yeah, all the same reasons why I love it.
So a lot of
Eight
people
point.
keep depth overhyping his performance in Scorsese's most recent film, but we'll talk about that later on.
Oh, okay. Interesting. $80 million budget, worldwide gross 294.8. That's a hit. And sitting at 8.2 on IMDb. So people are loving it. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, it is sitting at, oh, Ben Kingsley's also in it, 69% with the 77% audience score.
Pretty damn.
I like it. People are saying this is Scorsese's most unrestrained movie. Ooh. All right. What is your number 3?
A movie I've spoken to you about recently. This came out in 1976. This is a classic psychological thriller about taxi driver Travis Bickle and his mentally deteriorating state as he works the nights in the city in Martin Scorsese Taxi Driver. Written by Paul Schrader, the one that did Car Counter.
Which I did not like.
I didn't think it was that bad.
He also did, it's like a trilogy movie.
I said Master Gardener,
Oh, The
that was,
Master Gardener.
and First Reform.
I like First Reform.
Have you seen Master Gardener?
No, not yet.
Check that one out.
Yeah, I need to close out the trilogy.
Yeah.
All right, Taxi Driver. Mentally unstable veteran works as a nighttime taxi driver, in New York City, where the perceived decadence and sleaze fuels his urge for violent action. Also starring Sybil Shepherd and Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster's first role.
Yes.
Yeah, probably, right?
Peter also made Bugsy Malone in the same year.
Also made what?
Bugsy Malone.
Oh. Peter Boyle also stars in this, as well as Albert Brooks, who just came out, released a documentary over on HBO. Hey, I can say it now. Over on Max, it's a documentary about his life, and it is directed by Rob Reiner.
Nice. And Harvey Keitel's in this too.
Oh yeah, ultimate badass.
So, while Paul Schrader really does give a good character study in this movie, it's more the last act that really makes it shine.
Yeah, to me, it was always like, what is he gonna do? What is he capable of doing? Uh,
The whole thing
very,
builds up to him trying to assassinate a political figure because he's trying to win over a girl.
so many good reasons to do it. But I mean, this was Robert De Niro's first sort of big role where everyone noticed his acting, right?
Yes. The
Nominated for Best Picture.
cinematography and score are beautiful. I just
Yeah,
really like how he stylizes the gritty New York.
very. Yeah, I mean, he lived it. You know, he was there for it, so he definitely was able to bring the essence.
I don't think
But no,
I don't think he's an ex-army veteran.
no, I don't
In
think
fact,
so.
so far this is the only film related to Veterans Day or Memorial Day.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if any of my movies do. The only movies that really are like war, I guess Silence maybe.
I need to see Silence.
Uh, and he doesn't really do war.
This film
Uh,
also won the Palme d'Or at the 1979 Cannes Film Festival and 4 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actor for De Niro, Best Supporting Actress for Foster, and Best Original Score for Bernard Herrmann.
yeah,
So no director,
very
no director
no,
nomination.
but he
Which,
was nominated at the BAFTAs.
yes, he was.
Yeah, I bet this is in a lot of people's top five.
I get why people probably think Rocky and Network are better films.
I haven't seen Network.
Network's fun.
8.2 for Taxi Driver on IMDb. Wow. Probably his lowest budget ever. $1.3 million. Worldwide gross 28.5.
No, I think Mean Streets has a lower budget.
Okay. Good for him. 89% of Rotten Tomatoes, 93 from the audience score. I think the audience is loving it. A must see for film movie lovers. It's a masterpiece, hard hitting and compelling, and Robert De Niro at his best. All right. My number 2. I already know it's on your list. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, of course. But a whole slew of great actors. I mean, it doesn't even need to be prompted. We already know what it is. It's The Departed.
Which is also my number 2.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk about it. It's an undercover cop and a mole in the police attempt to identify each other while infiltrating an Irish gang in South Boston. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt
That's a
Damon, Mark.
goodie.
What?
Leo's a goodie, Matt Damon's the baddie.
Yeah. Well, that's a spoiler. Mark Wahlberg, Jack Nicholson, Martin Sheen, Ray Winstone,
Oh.
Anthony Anderson, Vera Farmiga, Alec Baldwin. Any other ones you want to throw in?
Kevin Corrigan and James Badgedale.
There you go.
And Robert Wahlberg, who's Mark Wahlberg's brother.
Top rated number 40 overall on IMDb.
Wow.
That's huge. Talk about it.
So yes, so Leo's in the police, but they find out he has his family have a criminal background, so he's a perfect person to go undercover in the gang of Frank Costello, played by Jack Nicholson. However, Frank has a few tricks up his sleeve, and one of the tricks is he has a mole planted in the Boston Police, who Matt Damon is playing. Luckily, the only two men who know about Leo are the captain and the sergeant, played by Martin Sheen and Mark Wahlberg. And Mark Wahlberg gives the best acting of his whole career in this movie. Like, you could tell when he was hired on to be in a Scorsese film, he had to put his best onto it, and he becomes one of the best things about this movie.
Yeah, when you have these other powerhouses in the movie, whether you act with them or not, you need to put the best foot forward because everyone else is definitely going to be doing the same. So I think it was good to give Mark Wahlberg that opportunity. I wonder if he even had to audition for it.
But him and Damon actually have the Boston accent, so their performances feel really natural, whereas everybody else is trying to put it on, and it works for Leo and Jack Nicholson, but it doesn't work for Ray.
Yeah, yeah. This is an ensemble cast acting masterclass. This is everyone tried to be better and almost was better
The
than the
only
next
thing I'm
person in
surprised
line.
about is Leo got nominated for the wrong film.
What? Because it was Blood Diamond.
Yeah, why didn't he get nominated for this movie?
Yeah, well, it was his accent in Blood Diamond, right? Huh?
Oh yeah, he's putting on more of a different accent, not having to put a Boston one on, having to put a South African accent on.
Yeah, the only acting performance nomination was Mark Wahlberg. It did win Best Picture of the Year, Best Director, also nominated and won Best Adapted Screenplay and Film Editing.
I don't know what it is, but I love the music that plays at the end of The Departed.
Yeah, the ending of that feels like the ending of Training Day to me.
A little bit, yeah.
Which is good. I mean, the ending of Training Day is amazing. So yeah, yeah, it's fantastic film. It's a tour de force. This is a big film, and just it's one of those almost perfect movies, I'd have to say. And it just keeps you engaged the entire time.
Especially that last half an hour.
2.5 hours, yeah, exactly.
And the last half an hour is the one that gets you on your feet the most.
And I think this is probably my first introduction to Vera Farmiga, who's great.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone knows this movie.
Is it bad that I know Anthony Anderson best from Kangaroo Jack?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Mine would be Me, Myself, and Irene, Jim Carrey. So
that would probably be one of them as well.
So freaking funny in that. $90 million budget, worldwide gross $291.4 million.
Wow.
Biggest IMDb, 8.5 on IMDb. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, The Departed is sitting at 91% with a 94% audience score. It's an engrossing gangster drama with gritty authenticity and soupy morality, which is what we come to expect from Martin Scorsese. Okay, we have come down to our number one. I don't know if The Departed is not your that can't be right, Rob. Can it be right? Well, before we get to that, your number one, which I was definitely thinking was The Departed. Well, let's talk about my number one. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, but also starring probably one of the best performances from any actor ever as Bill the Butcher, Daniel Day-Lewis. This is 2002's Gangs of New York. I
There's
don't
a
know if
good
I've ever
movie.
I don't know if I've ever been frightened by, when I was a kid, like watching wrestling. The Undertaker, he was scary. Um, Sid Vicious, whatever. Uh, but movie people doesn't really scare me much. Maybe Freddy Krueger the first time I saw him. I was terrified of Bill the Butcher, and I was, in high school. So to have that be something that'll tell you something. Daniel Day Lewis, this is to me, it's his best performance, even though he has multiple Academy
There
Award
will be
nominated
blood.
and winning. Yeah,
There will
well,
be blood.
I don't think so. It's one of his worst. Um,
You live on a different planet or a different reality to me.
yeah, I know. Isn't that great? Well, we do a semi-weekly show together.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, yeah, I just think nobody embodied the character better than Daniel Day-Lewis as Bill the Butcher. It takes place in 1862. Amsterdam Valen returns to the Five Points area of New York City, seeking revenge against Bill the Butcher, his father's killer.
You can
Oh,
tell this film has 3 screenplays because whilst the directing and the visuals are fantastic in this, the story is a little bit hit and miss.
hmm. Also starring Cameron Diaz, Jim Broadbent,
Yes,
John C. Riley,
amazing,
Liam Neeson,
amazing.
one of my favorite Brendan Gleeson's performances as well. Brendan Gleeson's in there. Stephen Graham.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eddie Marsden and Henry Thomas from E.T.
Eddie Marzen.
Yep.
Yeah. This is a brutal
I
battle.
wonder if this was Stephen Graham's first big American movie.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. People say that maybe Cameron Diaz was a little bit miscast.
She
Maybe.
she was. I would have had somebody like Kate Winslet.
All right, but Cameron Diaz, no one was sort of hotter at the end of the 90s and early 2000s.
No, I love Cameron Diaz.
She was getting a lot of love. Um, and I think she plays well to the movie. But yeah, you
He's
have
better in
powerhouses like,
being John Malkovich in more dramatic.
yeah, I would agree. Yeah, yeah. Leo's great, but the Bill the Butcher is the number one here. Daniel Day Lewis. The
I'd say
visuals.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Jim Broadbent, Liam Neeson, and Brendan Gleeson are the best performances in the film.
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson's great. So good. But it's brutal. It's raw, gritty. The production design is freaking phenomenal.
It is.
Uh, and I think the screenplay really worked for me. Um, but yeah, it's always about sort of revenge and getting back at the person.
Also
And when it
scored by Howard Shaw.
nice in Scorsese films, it's usually about getting back at the person who wronged you in your past. But just beautiful, and yeah, I was scared of
Oh,
of Bill the Butcher.
before you move on to the facts, I will say that our number ones are linked by the same cinematographer, Michael Ballhaus.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what it is. Surprised this didn't do better in the box office. $100 million worldwide gross, 193.7.
That's still good.
Yeah, yeah, but I think he wanted to like double or triple it. Or nominated for 10 Oscars and didn't win a Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role with Daniel Day-Lewis, Best Director, Best Writing and Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Costume Design, Film Editing, Sound, and Music. Original song was The Hands That Built America from U2.
I do have a question. Why was he nominated for Best Actor, not Best Supporting Actor? Leo's the main character.
That's a very, very good question. And had he been, he probably would have won because
Um,
the winner for supporting actor that year was Chris Cooper for Adaptation.
I only remember Nicolas Cage from Adaptation.
Well, yeah.
I don't remember Chris Cooper. I barely remember Meryl Streep apart from the only thing I remember from Meryl Streep when she's talking to Tilda Swinton. In fact, I remember
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton being more in that movie than Meryl Streep.
Well, Meryl Streep was also in another movie that year that got a lot of Oscar nominations, The Hours. But of course, the big winner that year is Chicago.
Yes.
Adrian Brody won for the pianist.
Yes.
Nicole Kidman for The Hours. Catherine Zeta-Jones for Chicago, and then director went to the pianist Roman Polanski. Screenplay went to Talk to Her from Pedro Almodovar.
Good choice.
Yeah. What else? Gangs of New York lost to Best Cinematography to Road to Perdition, and lost set direction to Chicago. Lost costume design to Chicago. Lost sound to Chicago. Lost film editing to Chicago.
This is the thing with Scorsese films. They get so many nominations, but they never win awards.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen again this year. Eminem won for "Lose Yourself," beating out the U2 song.
Eminem's better than you two.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well there you go. And then over on Rotten Tomatoes, Gangs of New York sits at 73%, and then the audience gives it 81.
That sounds
Says
about right.
flawed and sprawling, messy Gangs of New York is redeemed by impressive production design and Daniel Day-Lewis's electric performance.
Those are the two best things about it.
Sweet. All right, let's hear about your number one. And is it a recent film, Rob?
No, unless you call the 90s recent.
Okay, let's hear it.
My number one is Goodfellas.
Yeah, I think this is everyone's number one that live
Well,
on your world and planet, because my world and planet's different, obviously.
God bless Ray Liotta. What a performance he gives throughout this movie.
I like everybody else.
De Niro, Pesci, and Paul Savino are fantastic gangster actors. Lorraine Bracco masters this role that much that she got on The Sopranos and rejected the role of Tony's wife because she didn't want to play the same character she played in Goodfellas, and was offered a psychiatrist role instead and took it.
Karen.
Yes, Karen.
Yeah.
Yes, this documents the life of Henry Hill between 1995, where he grows up wanting to be this gangster. He thinks it's going to be better than being president of the United States. And obviously, he goes through the mafia. He ends up being friends with gangsters. He ends up killing people. He ends up witnessing people getting killed. He ends up getting drug addictions. He has affairs on his wife. He ends up in prison. He ends up having gambling addictions. And by the end, he's just a completely different person.
And it's your favorite.
Did you know this film also stars a young Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, yeah? To me, Samuel L. Jackson's always been old. But yeah, he just wanted to always be a gangster. That was his life goal. And
He did it.
he made it happen. Number 17 overall on IMDb. The highest of all the ones so far that we've talked about. It is sandwiched between The Matrix at 16 and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at 18.
Also, what I love about this movie is the soundtrack.
Soundtrack. Well, it won one Oscar.
for supporting
Nom-
actor.
Nominated for 6. Won Best Supporting Actor for Joe Pesci. Nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Best Writing, and Film Editing.
I just don't understand how Kevin Costner makes a film, and on his first go he wins Best Picture and Best Film over a master of cinema who has just made his masterpiece.
I mean, that should tell you. It should tell you how better Dances with Wolves really is.
How come Kevin Costner isn't making loads of movies and telling people that superhero films aren't cinema? In fact,
Because he's been,
Costner's been in a superhero movie.
yeah, wasn't he the dad in Man of Steel?
Correct.
Yeah. Wow. Joe Pesci beat out Al Pacino for Dick Tracy, Bruce Davison for Longtime Companion, Andy Garcia for The Godfather 3, and Graham Greene for Dances with Wolves.
No, I think he deserved it out of all those. Who did Lorraine lose to?
Whoopee for Ghost.
Okay. That one I can let win. That one I can let win. Were all the rest Dances with Wolves?
No, actually, it Dances with Wolves won a few here and there, but Jeremy Irons won for Reversal of Fortune. Kathy Bates won for Misery.
But they weren't nominated in. Doofella wasn't nominated in those categories.
No, I'm just giving you the big lowdown there.
Good.
Kevin Costner won for Director. Oh my God. Best Film Editing, yeah, went to Dances with Wolves.
And so did adapted screenplay.
And yeah, score, but that wasn't nominated. Best Picture, Best Sound, but that wasn't nominated. Screenplay, yep. Original screenplay was Ghost. Nice. Total Recall got a Special Achievement Award for visual effects.
Nice.
That was before visual effects were there then. Because the other nominees or runners-up would have been Back to the Future 3, Dick Tracy, and Ghost? I don't know. Yeah, I think Goodfellas is not only in a lot of people's top 5, number 1, even Martin Scorsese movies, but overall movies ever. Like that's one of the big ones that always gets talked about. It's the one that you just mentioned where they wish that it won over the movie that won Best Picture that year. This one gets talked about a lot. I think this would be what Martin Scorsese's masterpiece, quote unquote. And the highest IMDb number at 8.7 on IMDb. $25 million budget, 47 million gross though, so not too good. Was it just Goodfellas? Yeah. And then over on IMDb, 94% with a 97% audience score with 250,000 plus ratings. Good gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you have it. And we not only lined up on one movie, it was in the same spot. The Departed, number 2.
Yeah.
You had mentioned Killers of the Flower Moon and wanted to discuss it a little bit.
Yes, let's discuss that before we close out the episode. Because now you can talk about these movies.
Yes.
There were bits I really enjoyed, but the film just went at such a slow pace.
Yeah, it's a gangster western movie, and it felt more. I mean, you got a lot of gangster stuff in there, but the pacing of westerns are a little slow, and I think that the pacing was a little bit off in this one. And it's a 3-hour movie, 3.5, 3, and it felt like it. It didn't go down as smooth as everyone wanted it to. One of the most anticipated movies of the year, especially because it was supposed to come out last year. But I think Lily is the highlight of the movie,
Definitely.
and
De Niro.
I
De
I
Niro
enjoyed
also
De Niro.
fantastic.
Enjoyed his performance as well. Leo is great. He's really, really good. It's
He's
just,
not as great as the trailers and everybody else is making him out to be. Personally,
yeah,
Justin, I preferred him in Don't Look Up.
hmm yeah. Maybe he was a little bit miscasted in this one too. Um,
Yeah, like he wasn't like it felt like something like Chalamet should have played that role, and Leo should have played Robert De Niro.
Interesting. Yeah, it's technically a great movie. The production design's amazing. I enjoy the score in it. I think the directing was done really well.
And
I
Brendan
wanted to
stole the show.
who?
Brendan.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I thought he killed in that performance.
I would have liked a little more of the white people being the butlers and drivers to the the Indian side of things, the Osage people.
I'm sure that would have happened if it was an indigenous director.
Yeah, I
This
just
is one of the rare ones Scorsese helped in the screenplay.
yeah, uh, based off of a book
And he appears at the
and an
end of
actual
the
story.
radio show.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. I felt like it was an interesting part of the movie, but it could have been done a little bit better. They try to wrap up everything with a bow. Uh, but yeah, Lily is the ultimate star of this movie, and I think the Osage people are the star of this movie. Really, really well
And
done.
the score from Robbie Robertson was phenomenal too.
Yeah, yeah, and memorable. Like that was something that somebody that doesn't really, worry about the music as much as I like the acting. It was killer. It was really, really good.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Like I
just a
said,
little long.
five star for effort, but overall just a bit slow for me.
Yeah, and I think it'll be like what we talked about with most of these Martin Scorsese movies, where they'll get all the nominations, but none of the wins.
Yeah, like I knew Oppenheimer was long, but because they didn't because there was quick shots and more intensity, I could follow that one better.
Well, the visuals that he was putting on screen to make us see what Cillian Murphy Oppenheimer was seeing was amazing. Like
Or what Robert Downey Jr. was seeing.
right, exactly. But Martin Scorsese definitely utilized women better in this movie than Nolan did.
Yes.
Um, and
Yes. Well Nolan's got 30 more years, so maybe he might improve on that as he goes on.
yeah, but yeah, it's worth talking about for award season, but it's not going to make my top 10 favorite movie of the year.
No, I don't think it'll make mine like Barbie Oppenheimer or my recommendation for today will be.
Okay. Great. Well, yeah, check out Killers of it's now available on Apple TV Plus, so you can pause it and go pee and
Make
get
coffee.
drinks and all that stuff. Yeah, take a nap and then rewatch, something you missed.
But my recommendation is only a short movie, 2 hours, a nice little action thriller directed by Mr. David Fincher, and it's The Killer.
Ooh, I'm gonna see that this weekend. Finally,
It's out on
it's
Netflix,
it's on
so as soon
it's
as
out on Netflix.
yes, as soon as you stop this, go on to Netflix and watch it. I'm not going to explain the plot to you, I'm just going to explain. It's Michael Fassbender, he's a hitman, David Fincher's directing, Tilda Swinton's in there somewhere. Are you sold?
Oh yeah, I was sold with
Oh,
Fassbender. Yeah. Maybe you'll get a lot, some more talk soon, but I haven't heard much about this one yet.
I think it's going to
Uh,
be one of those mid-tier movies Matt Damon was on about.
what?
You know, he said that they used to be like mid-budget movies that wouldn't do so well in cinema, but would do good on DVD or TV.
Matt Damon said that?
Yeah,
Huh. Didn't know. Actually, Matt Damon looks like he could have been in this movie. You
yeah.
think he could have been Matt Fassbender's role?
No, but he could have had a little spot in there. Like he's the only actor who's like he shines in this movie, but he is the title character, and that's he want to see in this movie. You're not really bothered. It's just good that Tilda pops up somewhere.
Yeah. I like Fassbender. It's been a while since we've seen him in anything too, so
I'm
I'm
looking forward to the
interested.
football movie Fassbender's doing with Taika.
Oh yeah, next goal wins,
Yeah,
right?
next goal wins.
Okay. Good. Well, yeah, that's a good recommendation because I'm for sure going to see that. Okay. Cool. I will recommend something that I actually ended up enjoying. Uh, I wanted to see it in theaters because it's part of a trilogy. I'd seen the first two, and pretty much anything Denzel Washington is in, I want to see. I am recommending The Equalizer 3 or The Threequalizer.
Nice.
I don't know why I like this, but I did. It must have been Denzel's performance because there's not a lot of action in this. So that like the first two are just littered in action, and this one's pretty subtle.
Is
The
it
action that we
simply a sequel to Man on Fire since Dakota Fanning's in it?
uh no, because she plays a cop looking for him. So and
Right.
I guess we don't know if he does die in Man on Fire, but it's implied that he does.
Spoiler for a
Uh,
20-year-old film.
yeah, well, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you guys were never going to. Like this, that should have been a movie that is seen by you.
I saw
Uh,
it last year. It was okay.
um, I really like Man on Fire. I like all those early 2000 Denzel movies. I love John Q. Uh,
Inside Man and American Gangster are two of my favorites.
Deja Vu.
Training Day.
Yeah. But yeah,
I
so
know it's
it
a
takes.
90s film, but I like The Bone Collector.
Oh, I like the Bone Collector. Angelina Jolie, baby.
Yeah,
But yeah, Equalizer 3 takes place in Italy, which is one of my favorite places anyway. And then, so it's beautiful, but yeah, he just, wherever he goes, if he likes you as a person or likes your sort of politics on things, he's going to stick up for you. And so that's what happens here is he's sticking up for the town of, where he's staying and the people in it. And yeah, it just really worked for me. I enjoyed it very much. Won't be in like my top 10 of the year, but watching all these movies these days and this year have been kind of disappointing, and this one was a pleasant surprise for me. Equalizer 3 is my movie
I was about to say
recommendation.
because I'm being a bit more disappointed with the second half of this year than the first half.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. We'll see what happens. We still got a month and a half left of movies. I can't believe it's already this
And
time.
and me, by the looks of things, I was looking at the January releases, and Poor Things and The Color Purple come out that month. So once I've seen those, that's when we'll do the Flemings.
Yeah, I hear Poor Things isn't as good as we all want it to be, and I hear The Color Purple is the best thing of the year. So I'm excited.
I want to see the Whoopi one again first.
Yeah, the Spielberg one.
Yes.
Cool. Right. What's the plan for next time?
You know what? I was thinking, because we've done our favourite sequels and our favourite third films and our favourite fourth films. Let's do our favourite fifth film in a franchise.
Oh my god.
Make it a bit more of a challenge.
Movie franchises with 5 or more films.
Because I'm up to date with a franchise that has 6 films, and the fifth film was amazing.
This is going to be tough. A lot of them stop at 4. Oh no. With 5 entries. Okay, it's going to be tough. All right. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Right.
We'll do that when we are able to get it together.
Yes, and I'll try and do something with me and Cody if you can't do next week.
It's gonna be tough. Next week is my nephew's birthday, so I'm maybe in Texas.
Ooh.
Oh, we. So, but we still might be able to make it work. I'm looking at all these. I don't know. This is gonna be really tough. Okay, we'll do it.
See, I promise something easier afterwards.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of horror films. Those are the only ones that usually have 5 or more.
But yes, let me know your comments down below on your top 5 Martin Scorsese film or your favourite Martin Scorsese film. Give us a like, subscribe to this channel. Check out Worth the View movies on everything. Check out me on the platforms, and also comment what you want to see us do for future episodes. Thank you all for watching.
Happy Veterans Day, happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day, happy Veterans Day, happy Memorial Day. And to anybody who has participated in a war, we salute you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Right, bye,
Thank you all for viewing.
On.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, for having me.
We'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone. Bye, Justin.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.